What's worse than getting down to the metro and seeing a train go by when you're already late? Realizing you have to wait 12 minutes for the next train. Unfortunately, every Washingtonian can agree this happens more frequently than not with WMATA. In fact, if you didn't know already, there's an entire Twitter handle dedicated to complaining about WMATA called @UnsuckDC Metro. But why do we have so many metro delays? And why do we have this horrid safe tracking schedule when WMATA has been constantly repairing lines? Well, for one, the DC Metro is over 117 miles long, approximately the distance from Washington, D.C. to Richmond, Virginia. Now imagine having to maintain all that infrastructure. We decided to speak with former WMATA employee Trevor Alexi to get the inside scoop on how much work it takes to keep WMATA running.
I worked for 5 years as a train control technician and supervisor in the automatic train control division with WMATA. The most common infrastructure issues we saw were bending or warping of rails due to excessive heat and deterioration of the track bed, whether it's outdoors or underground in the tunnels. Deteriorating. As far as the causes of these infrastructure issues, one was obviously the heat. The other was just lack of maintenance. Going to a much later closing time on the weekends means there's much less time to actually get work done, to maintain the rail, to maintain the track beds and the ties outside. So I think going to Safe Track was really the only option that the new GM had, but he's doing a very good job of making sure the maintenance that needs to get done gets done. I can't really remember a time in the last 5, 8 years, and having grown up here, even in the last 30 years, where Metro has shut down due to like Superstorm Sandy and flooding, or snowstorms. I mean, that kind of stuff is quite unlikely. Seems to be happening much more regularly in the more recent years.
Climate change? Who would have thought? I didn't realize that it's already impacting my life. It turns out that some of the extreme weather events we've experienced in DC might be exacerbated by climate change. Not only that, but the district is a documented urban heat island, with 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit difference downtown compared to nearby rural regions on summer afternoons. The July heat wave in 2012 caused 1,000-foot section of the Green Line track to warp after multiple days of temperature in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, no wonder WMATA is struggling. Is it only going to get worse as the city grows, our greenhouse gas emissions increase, and we see a continued gradual rise in temperature and sea level? The Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, a regional nonprofit organization, forecast that by 2030 the DC metro area will gain 1.6 million new residents and estimated that greenhouse gas emissions will increase by 33% by 2030 and 43% by 2050. We looked into this further to see what other cities are doing to address the impacts of climate change. We found that cities around the world are already taking steps to combat climate change through urban climate resilience, which is the ability of a system and its component parts to anticipate, absorb, accommodate, or recover from the effects of hazardous events in a timely and efficient manner, including throughout ensuring the preservation, restoration, or improvement of its essential basic structures and functions. You might be wondering if WMATA is involved in this planning. While DC is considering climate change adaptation and resilience for transportation planning, Metro's current infrastructure is not equipped to handle impacts from extreme events or the gradual impacts of climate change. Unfortunately, no funding is available to remedy this issue. What can we do to help? Call Office of the City Administrator to urge urban climate resilience planning for WMATA at 202-478-9200.